Good evening and welcome to Sports Today once again. A great match once again. We got to see Delhi got off to a best possible start. First over, Prithvi Shaw hitting six consecutive fours. Wow, that was some serious batting from the young talent. I think that he's making a strong statement for the selectors for upcoming World Cup. Also, when we see KKR side, Shubman Gill has got some runs tonight, but coming to open the innings and playing full quota of power play overs, consuming 38 balls and still having a strike rate of only around 10. The question remains unanswered that should KKR try to open the innings with Narayan once and see whether he gets it going to the power play in the power play over or not. If he gets out early, then still the upcoming batsman has a chance to play in power play and can score some runs within field restriction. When we talk about Nitish Rana, has to bat sensibly. He had hit Akshar Patel for six, and then Akshar Patel wickets to over the switches to over the wicket the next ball, and Rana tries to come down the track and wanted to hit big again and lost his wicket. I have nothing to say about Kolkata Knight Riders. What do you say, Rajoshi?
Baffling as usual, Anisha. We've spoken about it so often. It's like, it's been going on for years now. It's only the third week in the tournament. And Kolkata Knight Riders, they've just been repetitive, right? That's what I keep saying. That's what sort of, I understand what KKR fans will be feeling like right now. It's baffling. Again, the same Sunil Narayan problem. Look at Sunil Narayan at number 4. Why? He's okay. You've used him effectively as a pinch hit at the top of the order. We've discussed that maybe you use him alongside Nitish Rana, use him alongside Shubman Gill, or use him alongside Rahul Tripathi, but he cannot be a number 4. He cannot have. He cannot. He does not have the potential. Why should you let him face or make a situation, create a situation where he's potentially going to face more balls than Andre Russell? Well, he did not last too long. But think of someone like Andre Russell and think of how unfair it has been on him. We went back to that chase. You go back to that chase against Chennai Super Kings, which was a high-scoring game. KKR lost by a small margin, I believe, or 18 runs or thereabout, chasing a 200 plus total. Russell, Karthik, and Pat Cummins scored some runs there, but we knew it was a little too late and too little and too late. Andre Russell today faced 27 balls on a pitch which had runs in it. He started off with a strike rate of less than 100. By the time he finished, he had a strike rate in the high 160s. And what comes out of it? He faced 27 balls in a match against an opposition where KKR should have been potentially looking for 175, 180 plus. Well, maybe they would have still lost given how Prithvi Shaw batted, how Shikhar Dhawan played alongside him, and given Delhi Capital's batting lineup, and also the way Delhi Capitals bowled. Pat Cummins comes on to bowl in the 6th over. Shivam Mavi is taken apart by Prithvi Shaw. Okay, you start with Shivam Mavi because of a potential face off. You rely on data, you rely on matchups and face offs, but Prithvi Shaw took him apart. When that assault happened on Nisha, where were the seniors around Shivam Mavi? Maybe you sometimes miss some moments on TV. Maybe when we speak to Deep Dasgupta, or maybe he or Pragyan Ojha, because they're cricketers, they've been in the middle. They would tell you for sure that maybe your senior guy, maybe Pat Cummins, maybe Owen Morgan, somebody was having a word with him, but I could not see anybody as such. It was baffling. Owen Morgan's captaincy, Pat Cummins comes on to bowl in the 6th over on a surface where you would have expected the Pacers to go and have a crack at Delhi Capitals first up, especially after the kind of start Prithvi Shaw gave them. So it's, what do you say? It's just repetitive mistakes, one after the other, one game after the other. They're unwilling to learn and repeat the same mistakes over and over.
Yeah. Also, I was so eager to know, like, if Boria was on board for today's show, who was his captain from KKR side in his fantasy? Rajoshi, I guess you don't play fantasy, right?
There is some problem with the audio. Anisha, why don't you carry on? I'll just link back out and join you. I could not hear your question. So let me just sign off and I'll come back in again. There seems to be some audio issue.
Sure. Okay, so Rajoshi has very well portrayed that what Kolkata Knight Riders are doing. It's quite repetitive again and again, and they really need to pull up their socks. This game today was really disappointing for all the fans, for all those who actually prayed for KKR. Also, there are a few fans who personally spoke to me and they said that because it was Andre's birthdays and we play fantasy, so we have kept Andre as their captain. Indeed, that was a great decision, but then again, I felt that Andre should have started the form a little early. Maybe that could have like scored a little higher than what they have scored.
No, but you also have to see, Anisha, what position KKR were in. They had lost a lot of wickets. They had lost half their side with not too many on the board. And who do you have then? You had Andre Russell and Dinesh Karthik, right? So I mean, look, Nitish Rana, he started off with such a bang. First two matches, he got back-to-back half centuries. His form has withered away. So, but Shubman Gill, in fact, I was a little disappointed in the way he got out today. Of course, that slower off cut, I think it was from Avesh Khan.
In that case, you need to speak about Morgan. Rajesh.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I was coming to that actually. Even with On Morgan, I mean, he's captain. He's your captain, and you expect him to lead from the front. And he holds too long off of Lalit Yadav. Again, it would we'd like to hear what Pragyan, Goria, and Deep would have to say, especially Pragyan, because he's a spinner himself. Did they show too much respect to Lalit Yadav? Did they show too much respect to Lalit Yadav? 3 overs, 13 runs. You're not taking on the spinner. You're not taking on, and then your captain plays those shots. You have set Shubman Gill. That was a little, I was actually looking forward to a special from Shubman Gill. He did look very good in his innings there. But you're talking of Andre Russell. Well, look, he's an impact player, right? He will take a couple of balls to settle in and then he'll go. That is how he always plays. Depending on the situation, and it's definitely not the same Andre Russell that you would have seen 2, 3, 4 years back. But he takes maybe a few balls to settle down, and that's why you need him higher up the order.
For me, Russell dropped right from the first over.
Absolutely. Look at it's just absolutely disappointing. I mean, the more you talk of KKR, even as cricket analysts, even as presenters, Anisha, journalists, you are just beginning to think, is this some sense of stubbornness? Is this stubbornness, is it reflecting from the Kolkata team management? Is it about the captains? But you speak of the captains, the same mistakes happened under Dinesh Karthik, same mistakes are repeating against Morgan. Is it Brendan McCullum and his coaching staff? Who's going to answer? Who's going to bear? So there are so many questions they have to answer, but this is all their own doing.
With that too, when they have such a great lineup, I mean, they have the best players in their team, but still they are going wrong.
Yes, they do have the wherewithal, they do have the resources, but it's just, and nobody, again, we've discussed this on Sports Today, nobody is a rookie. Shubman Gill has played for India, Nitish Rana has been around in the Indian domestic cricket for a while, so has Rahul Tripathi. Morgan is an English legend. Dinesh Karthik has been, he's very rookies, but again, when you're playing Dinesh Karthik and Andre Russell that low down the order, that's not quite serving your purpose, is it?
Well, that was the second game of the double-header day. Let's move on to the first game of the double-header day because we really need to speak about that also. So, Rajesh, for a change, after many matches, Rajasthan did not lose a wicket in the power play. They started their innings well, but couldn't finish it off well. The question remains, that was 171 enough on this ground?
It wasn't going to be enough in Delhi. It wasn't, right? Because the moment Rohit Sharma saw that pitch, it was almost like he was licking his lips. He was like, we didn't do that well in Chennai, but hopefully this is a good pitch. We'll get back. Sanju Samson himself wasn't too disappointed after losing the toss, was he? He said it looked good for both batsmen and bowlers. Good start, like you said, in the power play. Yashasvi Jaiswal, wow, what a talent he is, right? He looked good. Then again, with George Button, Sanju Samson, you would have expected them to, one of them. I was hoping that one of them, for the sake of the Royals, would stay on till the end, maybe score up 75, 80 not out or get a big score. And Shivam Dube strike rate again, 35 or 31. David Miller, batting at number 5, I think, yeah. So, that just did not augur well. I mean, they were looking so good at one point. I think by the 12th over, the 11th over of the innings, it did look like they would press for a higher score, or maybe marginally some more runs. Maybe I thought they were looking at 15, 20 runs extra from what they scored, but they unfortunately only managed 171 or thereabout of 20 overs. And then that was just a sizzling knock from Quinton de Kock. Also, Anisha, before you move on to the other facets of the match, Brian Lara was very disappointed with the fact that Mumbai Indians dropped Ishan Kishan. He said, then what about Quinton de Kock? Because he's not firing and Chris Lynn scored some runs. And look at what Quinton de Kock did. Just completely anchored and guided the chase for Mumbai Indians. And that is what a champion side does. They learn from the mistakes, fresh start, fresh venue. They come and do what they're so good at doing. But look at teams like Kolkata Knight Riders, look at teams like Rajasthan Royals. They're just refusing to learn from the mistakes. Especially KKR is just baffling every time we talk about that. Also with Rajasthan Royals. Sanju Samson, the fourth highest run scorer, I believe now, got some runs today. But you'd expect more from him and Butler with the big guns gone now. So, well, again, another disappointing night for afternoon for Rajasthan Royals.
Also, Rajasthan Royals badly needs a proper spinner. Tiwatia is an all-round spinning option for them. I mean, you cannot win matches when your side doesn't have a proper spinner.
Absolutely, I completely 100% agree with you. But then, if you look at that combination, for the last for a couple of games, they've been either juggling with Shreyas Gopal or Jaydev Unadkat. So that is a difficult, slot for them to fill up. It seems, and yes, you're right. Rahul Tewatia cannot be your premier go-to spinner. Today was 3 overs, 30 runs. He was just completely taken apart. Shreyas Gopal, but again on this pitch, probably they thought they'd go with that extra seamer in Jaydev Unadkat and see if he could get that extra bounce and exploit something. But again, they weren't defending too many, and Quinton de Kock was, he was in the kind of form where he wanted to make up for some failures there. And Krunal Pandya, that moved for him up the order. But I just, at the end of the day, could not understand that move with Nathan Coulter-Knight coming in for Ishan Kishan, dropping him and getting that extra bowler.
Everybody is disappointed with this, that MI's middle order is not in great form and still they wanted to drop a batsman.
Anisha, what could have happened? I mean, in hindsight, it's easier to look back at it because Mumbai won that game. But also, I think what could have happened was because they thought that it had, it was a better pitch than what they saw in Chennai. And they thought that, okay, if there are runs anyway, we could probably do with one batsman less and just beef up that bowling department, because we don't know what's going on with Ishan Kishan. He hasn't looked the part. He was brilliant for them, especially last year for Mumbai Indians. Then he made such a sensational start to his India career in the T20 series. It's a little surprising to see that dip in form, but we don't know. Again, we don't know what's going on. Probably that's what they thought, that since it was a good batting pitch, might as well get that extra bowler. However, having said that, it was still very unfair on Ishan Kishan, who's been in brilliant form. Otherwise, apart from these for the first 5 or 6 matches for Mumbai Indians this season, to be left out on such a good pitch where Quinton de Kock made a fine comeback. He got back among the runs. So that was probably a tad bit disappointing if you're Ishan Kishan.
But then there's just one positive thing about both the matches, which was Prithvi Shaw.
Absolutely, Prithvi Shaw. Wow, what a night for him, right? He's had a great season. He's so pleasing to the eye, right? There's nothing brutal about him. It's just like he plays proper cricketing shots. He finds the gaps with such precision, timing. He's such a delight to the eye, right? Yes, he was disappointed. He must be disappointed after what happened in Adelaide. We saw him speaking out in interviews where he said he was really, really dejected. But he came back to India, worked hard on his game, and he's just carried on from where he left off at the Vijay Hazare. He was brilliant there, record-breaking season for him, and he started off so well. We were talking about his last game. When the way he got out, I felt bad because I just love this guy. I love watching him bat, and I love watching all these young Indian guys doing so well. Whether you're a Rishabh Pant, Prithvi Shaw, Mohammad Siraj, Avesh Khan, Navdeep Saini, I love watching these guys do well. Was a little disappointed with the way he got out, chasing a wide-ish delivery against Royal Challengers Bangalore. But today he was just sublime. Shivam Mavi, he just took him on from the word go. And I was telling someone, if Kolkata Knight Riders had managed to get a few more runs, maybe Prithvi Shaw would have just settled down and gotten to his 100 instead of getting off for 82 with about 8 or 10 runs left. So that would have probably been some extra motivation for him. But if he had to chase 20 more, maybe he would have got 18 of those and sealed it off with 100. But absolutely delighted to watch that guy tonight, Anisha.
Yeah. Well, that's all for the pre-match updates. We won't say that because our experts were not there. But then again, it's always a pleasure to talk with Rajoshi because he has so much knowledge in it, and he exactly summarizes the match the way our viewers wants to. So thank you so much once again, Rajoshi, for doing that for our viewers. Keep watching Sports Today, because that's where you get those special interviews, the exclusive interviews, the breaking news, and every other detail right now about Indian Premier League. Thank you for watching once again. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That's Sports Today. Thank you.